Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be doing a quick unboxing of the prototype for Lands of Evershade. This is Awakened Realms' new campaign story-based game that is going to be coming to GameFound. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. In this video, I am just going to quickly show you some of the different things you're going to find in this prototype, kind of the mechanisms that are going along with the game and what to expect with it. Now, after I've done an unboxing, I am going to do a full playthrough of at least the first part of this game so you can see what this game has in store for you and if it's something you're interested in picking up. Lands of Evershade is going to be a 1 to 5 player game. This is going to be kind of in the same realm as the larger campaign games like ISS Vanguard and the Tainted Grail and Kings of Ruin type thing, but they have taken all the things they've learned from those type of games and kind of expanded on it into this game. In those games, you are given certain characters to play, but in this game, they have taken it a step farther, and with this player's handbook concept, they're going to allow you to be able to create your own character and have the ability to experience an adventure that is your own. And all the decisions, of course, that you make in this game and who you are and what you've done is going to affect how the narrative moves forward. I'm really excited to dig into this game. This is one I've had on my radar for a long time, and I would like to thank Awakened Realms for giving me the opportunity to show you what is in this prototype and what to expect from this game coming forward. The final thing I'd like to say is, of course, this is a prototype, so anything you see in this video is subject to change moving forward. Now, of course, this wouldn't be an Awakened Realms game if, of course, it didn't come with some miniatures, so they did send me 2 boxes of miniatures, so we're also going to show those off as well as we go forward in this unboxing. So if you're excited to take a walk into Lands of Evershade, then I need you to meet me at the table. The first thing I would like to show off in this prototype is the Lands of Evershade Player's Handbook. This is a super unique thing that they have done for this game. Not only does it start by giving you an idea of what to expect in this game, kind of the Lands of Evershade and what has become of it, but it dives into how to create a character, which is super awesome. You're going to be able to create your own character to live inside of the Lands of Evershade. It's going to teach you everything you need to do by starting with how to grab your parts of your character and then what to do to make your character. You can do it by rolling, or you could pick your own stuff, and they have the different types of races. And of course, as this game evolves and the pledge or the campaign evolves, they've already said they are more than what is in this prototype, of course, for the races, classes, and things of that nature. There's going to be a whole bunch of ways of being able to customize your character. So you get your own race. The races are going to be able to get your starting abilities and your starting cards you're going to need for your actions. And it gives you your amount of hit points and things of that nature. So every race is going to have a little bit different in how they are set up. Once you pick one of the 4 races that they have here, you're going to move into the classes. The other races are in the final version of the player handbook. Will be including more races. Again, we have early years. This tells you exactly what you're doing beforehand. Before you decided to before this game happened, this is what you were doing. And each one of these, of course, is going to then give you certain skills, gold, and starting items and things of that nature for your character. So that is what is in the origins, and of course there's going to be 8 other origins coming up, and there's already what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it looks like a minimum of 15 is going to be in here, and things might unlock as the campaign goes forward. Next is going to be your profession, and of course there's only 4 in the prototype, but moving forward they're going to be having more: Paladin, Hunter, Druid, and Fighter. You could roll, or of course you could choose from the following. It's up to you if you want to have a random character and such. Again, the Paladin, if you decide to be a Paladin, it'll tell you everything you're going to gain from that and what type of advancement trees to pull out, so that as you level up, what cards you're going to gain, what ability scores you're going to increase, and things of that nature based on what type of advancement tree you have. The cool thing about it is you can then choose like a skill tree or a path you want to pick for your character. For example, the Paladin could go down and be a Protector or an Arbiter, and they're going to start with different stuff, and their leveling tree is going to be completely different. And I'll show you a little bit about that once we move into the actual box itself. Of course, like I said, there's also there can be a Hunter, you can be a Druid, there's also a Fighter in here as well. So those are the 4 that are the ones that are in the prototype, but there's of course going to be more included as they move forward. Then they talk about departure. It tells you exactly how you're going to start your game, and it teaches you how to advance your character. So as you go through your primary and secondary trees, you're going to be able to gain skills and abilities based on how you decide to place your tokens, and I'll show you those on the player board and on the little cards that you have. So if you decide to, let's say, go down Paladin, and you decide to take your primary tree as your first level up, then you'd get what that comes with that. Or if you decide to do one of the secondary trees, you'd get that instead. And it has 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to be leveling these up, and of course you get to the final one's probably really good. But here are the different trees. As you see, the Paladin's advancement tree, you get, like, for the first one, be Holy Power. You know how to channel your Divinium into a powerful melee strike to bolster your party. You're going to gain the card Guided Strike, and you're also going to, or you can gain the card Battle Prayer. So it's up to you how you want to decide to build out your character, which is super cool. I really like the way that they have done this. I think this will be really neat. And of course, there's a tree for every single one of the classes. And of course, here are the secondary trees. I could take, for example, I have Battle Magic. You'd be able to learn Energy Bolt or Support Magic. There's also Marksmanship, Nature. There's a whole bunch of different ones. And the trees that it tells you to take and have available to you are going to be based on the class and the, let's see, advancement tree. A fighter will be able to pick from the advancement of your own fighter tree, as well as close combat and warfare trees. So it tells you kind of which trees to have ready for your character. As you advance through the character. Then of course, if you decided you did not want to build your own character, they do have a section for pre-generated characters where you just you take the character, take everything they have, and continue forward. Of course, when I do the playthrough, I'll probably want to do I want to build my own character, because that's part of the fun. Super, super fun. Then there are all going to be secret origins, but I'm not going to show you any of this. This is stuff you're not supposed to see until you get to certain landmarks in the game. So that's a lot of what's in the player's handbook. And again, very prototype version of the handbook with a very limited amount of things you can do. But even with that limitation, it's already a huge amount of customization that you can do with your characters when you make them. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be super cool. I can hardly wait to dig into this. Let's check out what's in the actual box now. Opening up the box, I do want to mention that everything in this box is, again, subject to change, including there is no insert or anything in here, or in all the stuff for tokens and things of that is not final versions. None of this is final versions. But here we have a camp sheet, which is going to be able to fill in different things as you go through the camp, being able to give you abilities and things as you reach your camp to help your party as they go. Now there are secret sheets, and these are most of the time they're going to be like either cities that you can move around in, or they're going to be battle maps and things of that nature. For example, here's the first one, which is just going to give you an idea of how this works. It tells you how to start your adventure. And if you're resuming adventure, here are the different acts and chapters to start with and where to go for those. So these secret sheets are, like I said, mainly battle maps or cities that you're going to be experiencing in the game. Here are a couple of them. For example, here is the Streets of Nightbloom Crossing, and all these different things will have a play in the actual setup of the adventure or this particular encounter. The cool thing about it is it actually does have a space down here that shows things that could happen in the map. So if you decide, if you're fighting this map, you could potentially take encounter actions that are inside the map that are going to be able to be used against or for your party based on what this particular adventure thing is. This is a Delirium Blast. For example, if we have certain, if we're in certain places or doing certain things, this could happen, or it's something that's going to happen based on what's happening inside of the combat. This could be something that just naturally happens because of where you are in the world and what you're doing inside this map. So it does say right here, though, if you do, based on your objectives, depending on how it goes, you're going to go to different parts of the book. The book is the main driving point of this game. Here is a city of Whitewell. I believe this is our starting town. Again, I don't know for sure. I have not played the game, but there will be a playthrough coming, so hopefully we'll see how this works. And as you can see, these are all going to be able to open up different parts of the storybook from what I'd understand, because there's different numbers here, when you go there, you're going to be experiencing different parts of this town. Another thing I do want to mention is when you're on these maps, these are ways you can move around. These are, of course, areas where you can't move. So it's a tactical type battle, so you're gonna have to move around. But from what I understand, the combat in this game is a little bit quick and streamlined, more than some of the other games that are out there when it comes to dungeon crawlers. Continuing on with what you see in the box, like I said, is kind of a cluttered mess, but there isn't an insert or anything for the prototype, so bear with me. Every character, when they start the game, are going to get get a pouch that are going to have different tokens and things in them. For right now, they do have a set of dice, and this is a full set, 28, 12, 10, and 6 and 4s. So there is a full set of those. And there's also a full set of 12-siders. So a lot of the skill checks and everything, I believe, are going to be done with 12-siders in this game. You're going to have a pouch which is going to have different things for your character that you can use in the game. Also, I believe it's going to be used for the combat system. You're going to be drawing out tokens to see which person activates the enemy or yourself, and I'll show you a little bit about those tokens as we move through this. Here is reference sheets for your advancements. For example, here's our Paladin's advancement sheet that we saw in the book, and it gives you a quick thing of what these are, but if you wanted to look more in detail, of course, turn to the player's handbook, and there's ones for each one of these. They have the Paladin, the Fighter, the Druid, and the Hunter. They are the same on both sides, I believe. Then we have some of our enemies. This is if the enemy is a companion. This is if the enemy is an enemy. And the enemies are going to have a small set of cards as you play through it. We'll look at some of those cards coming soon. But it does give you different move statistics, strengths, amount of hit points, and different things for the enemies here. Next, we do have some player aids that are going to be used for this game. There are 4 of them. Not only it tells you everything about how to do combat, basic actions, and things of that nature, and it gives you a good glossary of what the different things you see on the different cards as you play through it. And there is a fate system in here. If you ever fail a skill check, you're able to gain a fate token, or of course you can get fate tokens from other ways as well, experiencing the story. And there's many different things you can do to use your fate tokens. It's a way of mitigating certain things in the game. So it is all on this card. So if you need to know anything, that is where you'll find it. Next, we have these little pouches, or these are supposed to be kind of like the pouches for your character, where you can put all the different cards that you've gained along the way for your humans and Druger, things of that nature. It has all the different class or races, I should say, and you can put all your cards you've gained into those. Continuing on, we have this is really cool. So what this is as you're making choices in the game, from what I understand, you're going to be either putting things here that might have different keywords and things, and it also will kind of, as you're going through the story, if you say you did something that says mark off G, you'd put a token here. So that way, as you're playing through the game and it says, do you have G, you don't have to go looking for a sheet or anything, it's right here. You can just say, oh yeah, I've got G. So then you can go to the storybook part of that has G. I believe that's what this is for. Again, everything I'm telling you is, there are a few things I haven't played the game yet, so I'm not exactly 100% sure, but I believe that is how that works. On top of that, we do have different portraits for our characters inside of this bag. So depending on what characters we decide to choose, we're going to be placing those with our character board. From what I understand, there isn't really a way to do a save system based on this, the way this is put together. But as the game develops and when it comes to fruition, there's going to be, I believe, a save system, a way of being able to save with all your stuff together. I don't think it's just something you write down on paper. I think they're going to have, from what I understand, a way of saving everything so that you can just pull everything back out and start again. Here is your character board, where of course you're going to put your portrait right here. And so if I decide to be an elf, right there, we can be an alien life form. No, I'm kidding. That's my good 80s reference. You put your character there, and it does list all the different things you're able to put here as you go forward. And I'll show you some of those tokens coming up soon. Here's your HP and your equipment that goes here. Again, as you advance, you can put in the tokens that shows you what you've taken, so you can make sure to follow as you're going. You're going to be putting your experience in here. Here's your inventory. You're going to slot in the different numbers based on your character and what they've done in the game. So, example, you put in your starting things when you start your character, but as you gain more into agility or something, you'll pop that one out and put a new token in, so you'll always have everything readily at hand. The next thing we have is going to be our hot bars, is what they call this. These is where you're going to be putting all your different abilities that you decide to bring into battle or into the world of what you're going to be experiencing. From what I understand, as you play through it, you may be gaining more than you have the ability to put out here. So you're able to leave those in reserve, and you can swap those out whenever you go to camp. If you are in a particular instant, you're in a combat or something and you don't have something, but you wish you did, and it's in you haven't equipped it, that's too bad. But if a story moment is asking for a particular keyword that you actually have in your possession but not out on your player board, it still counts as having that particular tag, even though you don't have it actually physically equipped. So for example, say I didn't have a leather helmet and I put a steel helmet here, and it says, if you have a leather helmet, go to this thing. You technically have the yellow helmet, you just don't have it equipped. Unless, of of course, the story says, if you have an equipped leather helmet, go to here. Then, obviously, if you have the steel helmet, you have failed yourself. So there's, I believe, 4 of these. And this prototype does play 2 to 3 players. There are only 3, I should say. So it does play 2 to 3 players. But do know this game can be played as a solo game once it comes through the entire crowdfunding experience. Moving on, we do have a starting book. This book does has the first 3 acts of the game, from what I understand. And you start with the first page. You're going to start reading from number 1, and we'll read the text that goes along with it. There is going to be an app that will be spoken, just like they've done for Kings of Ruin and ISS Vanguard and the Tainted Grail. They've had those apps that are able to do the narrations for you, and they are going to have that coming soon. It's not done yet for the prototype as it comes forward, but as the game develops, that of course is going to be a feature they're going to have. It'll read through all here. Then, and the cool thing about this is they don't necessarily handhold you, but they are going to tell you, if you haven't played the game before, please check out the tutorial part of this and go to 25. If you've already played the game, you can just go straight to number 9. Now, going to the tutorial is just going to teach you a little bit about what this particular passage is trying to do for you and how to resolve it. And then it'll probably go on to number 9. So example, this does say go to 25. So we'll just go to number 25 so we can see how this all takes place. So going to 25, it does give us an idea of how this all works. And then, of course, it does tell us to go to number 9, which is pretty awesome. So it teaches you how to play the game as you're experiencing the story. But if you've already played the game and you don't need that, you, of course, can skip all the tutorial moments inside of the game. So, and of course, this does go through, from what I understand, the first 3 acts of the game. I'll be doing a playthrough showcasing at least the first act of this game. But if I can't get all the way through it, at least you'll be able to see the mechanisms that go along with this game. Moving on, we do have a couple other cards. Here are all of our tokens. I'm going to take these out and just go show you a little bit about some of the tokens and what they're going to do. A lot of these are just going to be things you're going to place into your character boards. For example, if you decide to be a fighter, you're going to take this and slot it into your profession here. I would be a fighter. I would stick that there so I know I have that and what I'm going to be able to take into my abilities here. If I decided to be a Covenant of the Moon Lady, that'd be an origin. I'm going to put that there. I get rule. These are the tags I get. So if something comes up in the game needing those tags, that would be awesome. Say I'm a human. I can have this human token. I'll just put that right here to show human. But some other ones, for example, if I decide to be an elf, I would have Eldar Subterranean. I have those as options. I might have a secret origin. I could have skills as I develop. You're also going to take different advancements onto your character as well. If you get hurt, you're going to be taking injury tokens. You're also going to be gaining auras. These are going to be different things that are going to slot in here that are going to give you pluses to your particular abilities up here. These are kind of like the boons of the game, and as you use that, you would discard that. Of course, you can also gain terror, and if you gain terror, you're going to place these into the auras. If ever you get 4 terror, you no longer can really participate in what the game is doing. You can still be a part of the game, but you're not able to help with skill checks. The cool thing about how this works is when it tells you to make a skill check and you're a group of in your all together, you can choose who you want to make the skill check. Say it's a strength skill check, and so everybody kind of goes, hey, I got 3 strength. Well, I've got 2. Another person says, well, I only got 1. So the person with the 3 says, well, I'll make the roll. So that person can make the roll, and then maybe it'll say like make a strength skill check with the tags lore and subterranean or something. Then, for example, the person making the skill check of 3 goes ahead and makes this, rolls the 3, will have the 3 dice to roll, but the other player who maybe only had 1 strength but has the lore and subterranean keywords would be able to say, hey, wait, I can help out. I've got lore and subterranean. So they get to take 2 dice and they'll be able to help with trying to resolve the skill check. So you do get to cooperate in this game when it comes to the skill checks and things, and also in combat, you could be able to play cards and help each other out in combat. So I like the fact that this isn't just like, okay, who's got 3 strength? I've got 3 strength. I'll do this. Nobody needs to worry about it. I'll just roll the dice. No, I love the fact that you, not only the person, you get to work together as a group, decide who's going to do the skill check, but then others can help based on maybe keywords or things in the story saying, if you have maybe this item, whoever has a sword can give an extra die, can roll a die as well. So I really appreciate that it gives you a nice feel for how you can cooperate in this game. Continuing on, we do have dials that are going to count down for enemies when you're in combat. These are the tokens you're going to be drawing out. There's 3 different types of tokens. There's black, white, and dual tokens. So at the beginning of combat, it'll tell you what tokens to place in there. You're going to draw them out. White, of course, will be you. Black will be the enemy. And the white and black is going to symbolize you're going to activate the person who did not activate last. So say I draw a black one out, the enemy is going to activate. Then I draw a white-black symbol. Well, since the black chip was drawn last, the enemy's activated. The white one will be the one that activates because they acted last. So this one will be the white chip. Let's say I draw again, I get a white chip. That's great. Then I draw again, and I get a white and black chip. Well, now it'll be the black person because the last person to activate was the white chip. So that's how that goes. I think that's a cool system to kind of keep things balanced. We have all our different gear in here. We have gold up here, and the rings are pretty cool. The way they work is this game doesn't have that every character has a specific miniature or standee they're going to use. And it's Awakened Realm. This is going to be miniatures. Let's just face the facts because their miniatures are top notch. You're going to choose one that looks similar to or makes you feel like it encapsulates the character, and you're just going to put the colored ring on it for that character. These are all just going to be different tokens that slot into where what your character is able to do. These are the companions in this game, and I believe that's all that is for the different tokens. Some of the next cards we have are going to be our ability cards and also the enemy cards as well as we go through them. For example, every character might start with an attack card, so this will go out on your board like this, but as you go forward, you might upgrade this attack card to something else. This is going to show you the range it has, and range is all orthogonal, and when it comes to deciding how you're able to attack. So for example, this has a range 1, so it's going to be the 4 squares around it. You're going to roll your d12. If you are successful, you're going to deal damage. That's how the attack works. It's not too tough. Endurance, for example, will be able to help prevent damage as you're playing through this. And this is a reaction where the attack is an action. So there's different action and reaction cards as you go through it. And like I said, you might level up. For example, we might get the, what is this? The command. We might have a command card that we have. This is a support action. I can do a charisma 8 +1 die if I have the leadership tag. So if anybody has the leadership tag to help me out with command, I can use, they can help me out. Of course, when it comes to maybe in combat, it might just be done by yourself. I'll have to read through to make sure we get that completely right. And of course, you'll see it all in the playthrough coming soon. If you're successful, you get to add a check white token to the initiative bag, which would be awesome. You get to add more tokens to my bag. I might have inspiring command. Do not refresh this card. I have to pay a fate to refresh it, but it starts out, I'm guessing, I'm ready for action here. Again, rolling my charisma, I get to gain a fate token and add a white token to the initiative bag. So it kind of comes with its own refresh ability if you wanted to. So those are some of the ability cards that we are going to be gaining as we start or as we go through the game. Next, we have enemy activations, and of course, I believe they'll tell you which ones to take when you go into it. So it'll be like create a deck with A1 through 5 or something. So you take all A1 through 5s, and those would be the ones you're going to be using. And you'll just follow down here and show when it comes to the enemy's activation, what to do. So for example, this one will fall back, move 2 away from targets. Then it's going to do Power Bolt. It's an attack range spell. It's going to target an enemy. It's going to deal 1 plus however enemy or people out there, I guess, with damage. And it needs a 7 or better to do it, I believe. Summon spell, spawn 1 muddling onto an empty triangle. And we saw some of those triangles on those maps in the space closest to the murderer, whoever that is. So I'm sure this is part of the very first combat we're going to be fighting. We're going to be fighting with those particular cards. But these are just some of the enemy activations, of course, going through with the crowdfunding. There'll be a lot more because a lot more enemies and things. This is only the first, I think, 2 or 3 acts of the game. The next cards we have are going to be some of our enemies. For example, our Mysterious Murderer. This could be one of our enemies. It'll tell you kind of their health. Their health apparently is going to be 4 times the amount of players plus 6, 9 plus for. I will of course learn how these cards all work as we go through it. Here's the activation deck. You're going to take A2 and A3 to put in for this activation. Here's the muddlings are going to be here. Remember they said there were some of those cards were summoning muddlings. These are out on the board. These are going to just have 1 activation card because they're kind of what do you call them? Minions. They're minions. The minions are kind of just going to go as they go. We also have different things that are going to happen in the environment. So I might tell you to take out the barrels cards. You have the barrels card. You can use that as you're fighting. So you have different environment cards that are part of the game, which is pretty cool. I'm not supposed to show that apparently. Then we have our camp cards here. As we explore our camp and probably level up the camp, we're going to be able to use more of these cards. This, for example, is one of the camp cards. Camp Shelter, up to 4 characters can do this. You can sleep. On a D6, add your strength, 1 to 6, nothing happens. 7 plus, you get to discard an injury. That sounds fantastic. So as you're doing camp actions, what person who's injured could maybe go there. That might help them out. And that is everything that came in the prototype box. And of course, I will be doing a playthrough of this very soon, so please stay tuned to watch that. I'm also going to show you now some of the miniatures that came with the game. Now, I'm not going to pull out all the miniatures for this, but do know that, of course, again, subject to change moving forward, but there are a whole bunch of different types of miniatures that you're going to see as we go through it. Some of them are going to be the enemies, some are going to be things you're going to use out there. For example, here's like a one of the quest models, so if it tells you to put this quest out on one of the boards, you'll be putting that out there, or it might be something you slot into one of your character boards as you play through the game. These are going to be, I bet, some of the minions that are going to be out on the board, and these are all Sundrop. For those of you that have never seen an Awakened Realms game before, they do offer a Sundrop pledge, which is a very well done like wash over the miniatures. They also have these cool ones that have the acrylic stuff kind of combined in there, which looks really cool for some of these miniatures. We also have some of these all pretty much, these are some of the Mutterlings, I believe, some of those minions that we saw. So here's some of the minions that we saw. Here we have they look kind of creepy. That's kind of cool. I like it. Like it a lot. All right, put it right back in there. See if we can get some of these. Are all about the same type of miniatures. Here's the party marker. As we're moving out on the, this is used for moving out on the board. We have the party marker there for us to move around on. I believe the rest of these are going to be all of these. Oh, here's some danger models. There's a danger out there. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. We're going to put that out there. And we'll put that back. Okay, those are just some of the, I think, just the real basic miniatures. The other ones are going to be in here, and they're going to be super good. These will be the cool ones. Let's take a look at these. Oh, yeah, here we go. All right, so these are going to be some of either the enemies or the models for our characters that we can do. Now, of course, like I said, these are subject to change, and they are always a lot better quality than they come in the prototypes. Sometimes, sadly, the prototypes do. The shipping and stuff does cause that, but I have never had an issue with an Awakened Realms miniature. It's come from the actual crowdfunding page or the pledge that you do. But here's, I believe, one of the, you could either be yourself or you could use this as one of the enemies going forward. Here's, oh, look at this guy. This is one of the races that you can be. He looks like kind of a druid tracker type guy. Pretty awesome. We'll put him back. Let's see what we got here. We got some more guys up here. Here's the Druger guy, which is kind of like, I believe, a version of like a dwarf type character. We also have the Alf, A-L-F, which is obviously very similar to an elf, which is pretty awesome. And then I bet we have more humans up here. Here's another human that you can use. Here's one with two swords flying around. I think that's pretty awesome. And I'm guessing this is like a big major boss type character you're going to have to probably deal with in the game. Look at this guy. Look at that. That's absolutely amazing. Look at, he's got all this stuff just flying out all over him. That's pretty sweet. Look at this. It's even got this hand coming out from behind him. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. All right. So that is just some of the miniatures that are going to be coming with this game. Of course, there's going to be a lot more as the crowdfunding page continues forward and as this game comes to light. So there you have it. That is the prototype unboxing of Lands of Evershade. If you're interested in this, please check out the GameFound page. The link is in the description of this video. I will be doing a playthrough showcasing the mechanisms and a more in-depth version of how this game is played coming soon, so please stay tuned for that. If you did like this unboxing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when more content comes out, including Lands of Evershade's prototype playthrough. I can hardly wait to be super good. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. Have you heard about this? Are you excited for this game? I would like to hear what you think in the comments section below. Also, if you're interested in supporting the channel, the link to the Patreon is located in the description of this video as well. Those that have joined the Patreon are shown here on the screen. Thank you so much for your patronage. It means the world to me. So as we go forward in games, some of the cool things that the Patreons get a chance to do is, first off, they usually get to watch our videos 1 or 2 days ahead of time without commercial interruptions. On top of that, we have them help us decide how the game transforms. So moving into Lands of Evershade, I'm going to be putting out a poll onto my Patreon to help them decide kind of what race, what class, and things we should play in this game so they have a say in how the game develops going forward. So there you have it. That is the unboxing for the prototype of Lands of Evershade. Again, thank you to Awakened Realms for giving me the opportunity to showcase this amazing narrative adventure to you. If you're excited to see Lands of Evershade or anything else that Colin and I have coming up, then I need you to meet me at the table.